I give you everything. I give you all the best things. I give you the best oil. I give you the best tires. Well, I guess we know which way it goes on. That did not work out very well. Hey guys, it's Flashwing, out here in the garage again today with a quick video, and I wanted to show you guys the diagnostic mode of the bike. It's going to vary from bike to bike, operations, how to get into it, so you're going to have to look up your specific super sport or motorcycle in general, but I really wanted to just sort of bring this to everybody's attention because this is an incredibly useful tool that is not available on a car per se. Anybody who's got any automotive mechanic experience, doing more complex troubleshooting on modern vehicles, you're going to have a manufacturer specific PC or some type of an interface device to get the car to do some of the things I'm going to show you that you can do on your own bike right here. Really quick, just want to demonstrate what the different diagnostic modes are, how you can use them to check the bike, and more or less just call attention to this because I thought it was really cool. So for the R1, and this again, 09 and up, earlier years, I'm not too sure about. To get into diagnostic mode, you're basically going to press the select and reset buttons and hold them. Turn the ignition to on, and you'll know you're going to be entering that mode when you notice the high displayed on the coolant temperature. So now you're in diagnostic mode. You can let off the buttons and then you're going to simultaneously press them both again. And now you're in diagnostic mode. So the first set of information, so this is, I'm just going to go through these one by one just so you guys can see a little bit about how they operate. So first of all, so diag code 01 is going to be throttle position sensor signal, and then you've got basically this readout here. A readout of 12 to 21 shows a closed position, and then 96 to 106 is an open position. So you can move the throttle and you can see the number change. That just shows you that your throttle position sensor is working correctly. And then you can hit select, and this select and reset will move you up and down, and you can see D0101 on the display that just shows you which specific diagnostic code you're on. So 2 is atmospheric pressure, and it displays the current atmospheric pressure. If you had some way to measure it, you can tell whether or not it's actually working correctly. And let's see, number 3 is the pressure difference from both the atmosphere and intake air pressure. So this is supposed to show you if there is a difference between the air pressure inside the intake and the standard atmospheric pressure. Since the bike is off, you're not going to see either one of those. Next is intake air temperature. If you're able to basically determine whether or not that sensor is working correctly by whether or not it has an accurate readout of what the ambient air temperature is. Number 6 is coolant temperature, which you can see is 115. That way you know your coolant temperature sensor is working correctly. Number 7 is the vehicle speed pulse, and this we can determine by whether or not the rear tire rotates. So if you can see, we'll rotate the rear tire, and basically the number will stay because of course you can't rotate the rear tire and sometimes watch the screen at the same time. So it'll keep the highest number and let you know that it actually did give you a readout. Next is the lean angle sensor. This is really good if you're having a problem with the bike starting. The lean angle sensor basically reports a voltage to the PCM, and in this case it gives you a 0.4 to 1.4 volts is upright, and 3.7 to 4.4 is overturned or upside down. So if you're seeing, in this case, if you're seeing a higher voltage for the R1, that means your lean angle sensor is either installed incorrectly or not functioning right. Number 9, fuel system voltage. This is where we start using the kill switch, and in this case when we operate the kill switch, it will cycle the fuel pump, and we can see the fuel pump voltage is at 11.8, 11.7. It should be approximately 12. All right, next is the throttle position sensor signal number 2. Again, you can make sure that you can hear the throttles actuating, so you know that your throttles are working correctly. Oops. Number 14 is the accelerator position sensor signal. So again, this is mainly making sure that you're not so much the throttle position sensor, but an accelerator position sensor. Same deal. 15, another accelerator position sensor 2. We're good there. Hopefully it was all working today. Number 20, side stand switch. So this will tell you, for instance, I was having issues with the circuit control. I can't remember the name of the module, but it was basically the module that runs all of the side stand switch, the neutral switch, and it's supposed to prevent the bike from starting if any of the safety features aren't working. So right now you see that it's in the on position, and set on and off with side stand switch with the transmission in gear. So we'll put it in first, and you can see it's in the off position when the side stand is down, and it's in the on position when the side stand is up. And the same thing. So you not only do you know that the neutral switch is working correctly, but the side stand switches as well. And of course then 21, the gear position switch. So if it's in neutral, it's on. If it's in gear, it's off. So if you needed to diagnose whether or not your neutral position switch was bad, you can do that. And then this just shows the EEPROM fault display, which is later. What's next? So it goes from 21 to 30, so don't freak out about that. Okay, so this is where we get into the really, really cool stuff, all right? So number 30 is where you can test the ignition coils for each individual cylinder. 4 cylinders in a 4-piston motor. So if we had the motor, if I had the fuel tank off and everything apart, which would be kind of difficult to diagnose because of the fuel lines and stuff, this thing does actuate the fuel pump, so you have to be very careful. But you could pull the individual spark plug coils out and test them one at a time. And basically all you do that is by actuating the deal here, actuating the kill switch. And this will actuate the cylinder ignition coil 5 times at 1-second intervals. It will illuminate the engine trouble warning light when it does that. So we're going to do this even though you can't see anything. Fire, and every time it illuminates the engine light, it'll fire. So this is going to be from 30, 31, 32, 33. So number 33, of course, is cylinder 4. 34 is the intake funnel servo motor, and that is the they call them the funnels, but the runners in this location, and that will actuate them and move them up and down to test the actuator motor. And we can probably just so I don't know if you guys can hear that. So if you guys were able to hear it, but it had to actually move the motor to make sure these were working. Now, when I was having problems with the R1 not starting, one of the things I was concerned about was the fuel injectors. Now, you can actually test individual injectors. So 36 through 39 will actually actuate all of the individual fuel injectors. And it's the same thing as the ignition coils. You can't see anything, but you can hear it. Every time it would just fire just a little bit of fuel and actuate. So 36 through 39 are the primary injectors. Oh, and I lost my page. And then you have the secondary injectors, which are the shower injectors located in the intake. And that is 40 through 43. And again, I'll show you what that looks like and kind of sounds like. And you can go through each one of the injectors and make sure that they're actuating. If they are, they work. If they're not, replace your injector. Let me see if I've got any more. All right, so the next one is 47. Now 47 would have came in handy right after my crash because I was concerned that the steering dampener may have been damaged, or the motor may have been damaged. So this is the steering damper solenoid, and it will set the engine stop switch to on. The steering damper solenoid's on. It will illuminate the engine trouble warning light when the engine stop switch is on. This basically checks the operation. So if we had this off of the sides or off of the front tire chock, you would be able to move the damper and make sure that it actually works correctly. So now it's on. If we were to move this, the damper would function as though the bike was already on. Air induction system solenoid, that's number 48. And this basically checks the operation of the air induction solenoid. I'm not 100% sure what specific part that is. Again, same operation. Fuel pump relay. Something else. You can actually check individual relays on the bike and make sure that they work really well. Number 50 is the fuel pump relay, and it'll actuate the fuel pump in the process, and you'll be able to hear it click. And so if I had the seat off, it'd be a little bit better. Hopefully you guys can hear it. If not, but basically the fuel pump relay is back here, and you can hear it click. Number 51 is the radiator fan motor relay. That's actually going to actuate the fan itself. So now we know the fan relay and the fan both work as well. Number 52 is the headlight relay. So this is going to test the headlight operation, which is great because not only can you test whether or not the headlights work without starting the bike, you can test the relay. And then we reach number 60. Got to go all the way back to the first page. 60 is the EEPROM fault display system. So this is going to display current trouble codes that exist right now. And of course, it's going to read 00 because I have no trouble codes. If more than one cylinder is defective, the display alternates every 2 seconds to show all of the detected cylinder numbers. So this is going to show an 01 through an 04 cylinder fault code, and then 61 will actually display fault codes that are stored in memory. And if there's no history, you get a 00. If there is history, you'll get fault codes 11 through 70, and they will actuate between each individual fault code, so you'll want to basically jot them down and then check them out. Also, number 62 is how you erase the fault codes, and all you do is basically actuate the switch, and then that will actually erase your history. Now 63. Not sure what 63 is. A couple more of these I'm not too sure about. But that's basically it, guys. Nothing really, like I said, nothing super fancy, but just want to give you an idea of either if you have an R1 and you have no idea what these diagnostic modes do, Now you do. If you have something other than an R1, I mainly wanted to call attention to some of the features of the diagnostic mode that you may have access to. That may help you fix some of your problems on your own. I tend to do most of my own work on my bike, and I prefer to do that because I know it's done correctly. So I definitely encourage everybody to do as much as you can on your own, and this diagnostic tool is a great way to do a lot of checks that when it comes to cars, you would have to take it into the dealership, so you can really self-diagnose a lot of the big problems that you may have with your bike. It's not going to do everything, but it will at least eliminate a lot of different electrical components. Hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial. Leave your comments below, and as always, be sure to subscribe or like. Thank you very much for your support, guys, and we'll see you later.